Time now for today's installment of the Daily Retro N3, where I take up to 3 minutes to talk about a classic video game. Today, we're going to talk about Brawl Brothers, which was a beat-em-up from Jaleco that was released in 1993 on the Super Nintendo. This is actually the US and European port of the game Rushing Beat Ran, or Rushing Beat Chaos, the City of Clones, as it was known in Japan when it released on the Super Famicom the previous year. The game is the second in a series of beat-em-ups called Rushing Beat. The first one arrived in the US in 1992 under the name Rival Turf, which you probably remember because of its goofy cover art. The third game, Rushing Beat Shura, would hit the US in 1994 under the name Peacekeepers. By the way, this should not be confused with Mario Brothers, Smash Brothers, Smash Brothers Brawl, or the MMA boxing online store of the same name. Playing as one of 5 different characters, you and a friend of playing in co-op make your way through 4 levels. The characters vary in look, ability, and skill sets. The game does a few things differently in an attempt to set itself apart from other beat-em-ups at the time. For one, when you start a game, you have to pick 2 characters. The one you play as now and a secondary character you can switch to if you lose all your lives. In a 2-player game, you and your wingman each choose one. The other 3 characters are then kidnapped, and at the end of the first 3 levels, you have to face one of their clones as a boss. After defeating them, you then rescue that character, and you can select them going forward. Also, a few of the stages have maze-like areas where you need to pick the right path or you can get lost. While this might have looked like a good idea on paper, it tends to make things tedious, and you can spend several minutes being lost. The game also has a fun 2-player versus mode, and like any good beat-em-up, Brawl Brothers has a number of weapons you can pick up, including pipes, guns, and grenades. There's also a rage mode that you switch on in the options that will activate once your HP drops below a certain level. The Japanese version of the game is hidden on the Super Nintendo cart and can be accessed by entering a secret code when the game is booting up. The Japanese version removes the mazes, adds on more story details to the ending, renames the characters, and adds a new time attack mode where you and a friend team up to kill as many enemies as possible. If you're looking for the Super Nintendo card on eBay, it will run you anywhere from $30 to $80. However, the game is included as part of the Nintendo Switch Online service, along with Rival Turf and Peacekeepers. If you have an Evercade device, it's also part of the Jaleco Collection Volume 1, an Evercade cart that also contains Rival Turf, along with 8 other classic Jaleco games. While it's not as polished as other beat-em-ups, mainly Streets of Rage 2 and Final Fight, it's still a fun game, and if you're a fan of 16-bit beat-em-ups, you should definitely check it out.